All right. Fellow World, Paddler team back at it again. This time it's myself and Mitchell, both of us Naiji. And we're going to be just continuing on with some track 2 work, doing some catch-up beats for Mitchell from some stuff back in the day of early Naiji fundamentals. All right, let's go and just jump on into it. All right, so I'll see it in the sidebar there, Mitchell. There's a question. What is momentum? How do Naiji gain momentum? What is modulation? How do Naiji modulate? Where does the Naiji get its innate nature from?
All right, should I read it first?
Yeah, read and then go when you're ready.
Okay. All humans have 8 different powers in their psyche. 4 of these powers are conscious, and the other 4 are unconscious. Of the 4 conscious powers, 2 of them do momentum, meaning to give energy, and 2 of them be modulation, meaning to curb energy. It is the top 2 powers in their specific ranking that give each innate nature design, or mojo, its name and special gifts. Conscious powers to the Naiji mojo are Naiji, Zai, and Pi. Actually sounds pretty familiar, but it was because we did something like a long time ago that never actually.
What's that?
This sounds really familiar to me, but I think like there was we did like years ago. We had like a pamphlet, I think.
Okay.
From IG that I think this came from.
Yeah, probably.
Or at least some of it. Because I remember there was like the Nai. I don't know.
I think like basic field materials or something like that. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what it was. Okay, so momentum is the gaining of energy in the psyche, which is what the momentum powers do, and Naiji gain momentum with their powers of Nai and Chi, and when they give up those cues. And modulation is the curving of energy, which the modulation powers do, and the Naiji modulate with their Zai and V. The opposite of their momentum powers. And the Naiji gets its innate nature name from its top 2 powers, which are Nai and Ji, because those are enough to tell you the ordering of the rest of everything.
All right, this does sound familiar because there is a crossover to the universal section, but this is about the Naiji here. How does the power of Nai relate to momentum modulation for the Naiji? What is the technical definition of Nai? What is its focus? Power flows. Let's see. Since we've done it before, let's go ahead and just give like 5 of the power flows, and then the physiological cue, and then what makes the physiological cue increase.
Okay. We'll just read that. Nai is all about the unknown, corresponding associations such as detachment, call to imagine, conceptualization, envisioning, synthesis, synergy, inclusiveness, perspective shifting, meaningful insight, seeing the angles, speculation, prediction, global modeling, long-range planning, sense of destiny, visionary drive, independence of mind, secrecy, proactive theorizing, and abductive reasoning. Their Nai gives off the physiological cue of cunning eyes, which is their most pervasive signal, and it increases when their eyes narrow or disengage to the left.
If I do that off your head.
I might be able to. But I might psych myself out of it. But I've said that so many times probably that I probably
And just 5 keywords.
I'm self-conscious about it. So 5 keywords. Okay. It can be heard. Okay. So 5 powerful associated with Nai: detachment, call to imagine, conceptualization, visioning, and independence of mind. And the physiological cue most associated with Nai is with the eyes, perception powers, or the cunning eyes, and it increases when the eyes narrow or disengage to the left. It's a worldview power.
Let's see.
So same thing for G and
G. Yep.
G is all about the people with the corresponding associations such as sense of community, personal connection, social awareness, considerate behavior. It used to be personal consideration. But I guess we have so many personal that considerate behavior maybe just sounds I like that, actually. Integrity, code of conduct, group dynamics, cultural dynamics, interpersonal relationships, diplomacy, team building, shepherding, ritualizing, charm, and persuasion. Their G gives off physiological cue of the weremouth, which increases when their face shows any emotiveness at all. Okay, so 5 power flows associated with G are consider behavior, integrity, code of conduct, ritualizing, and charm. And the physiological cue most associated with G is their aware emotive expression, and it increases whenever there's any emotiveness on the face of the Naiji at all. Whenever they increase the emotiveness.
Same thing for Zai.
Okay, Zai is all about perfection, with corresponding associations such as clarity, dispassion, principal understanding, experimentation, diagnostics, situational logic, customizing, optimizing, calibrating, and deductive reasoning. Their Zai gives off a physiological cue of resonating, which is most notable when their eyes disengage to the right or their head tilts to the right and tends to coincide with a temporary neutralizing of the more natural Shi emotive expressiveness. So 5 with Zai again?
Yep. 5 across the board is good. And you don't have to use the ones that are listed there. You can use any of the 20 that you know.
Okay. My memory's spotty, so I'll go ahead and use these. All right. Let's see. Clarity, dispassion, principal understanding, situational logic, and experimentation, diagnostics. Yes. All right. And a physiological cue most associated with Zai is going to be a disengaging to the right, or also the Zai stone face, the neutralizing of the emotive expression. Those are like the main, most notable ones. And those are going to increase, obviously, the more the Naiji does the disengaging, their head tilts right, or the more they neutralize their emotive expression.
And I was throwing there also that it's a cool resonating that's like the baseline.
Cool resonating.
All right. Same thing, lastly, for V.
All right, then. V is all about reality, with corresponding associations such as environment scanning, present-mindedness, visceral experience, zest for life, and animal magnetism. Their V gives off physiological cue laser eyes, which shows up only with active use, such as when they widen their eyes looking out at something. Otherwise, it is subordinate to the cunning eye signal of their eye. Okay, those are 5. So I'll remember those. I kind of remember some other ones. I think I did. I don't remember how. All right. There's like connoisseur experience or something like that, and like there's all these different kinds of experience. I don't remember. Hyperized experience. All right. All right. So 5 abilities associated with V are environment scanning, present-mindedness, zest for life, animal magnetism, and visceral experience. There's plenty more kinds of experiences. And then the physiological chemo associated with B is laser eyes. And that's going to show up more when Naiji widen their eyes and modulate the more natural, dreamy, syncopated rhythm of their Nai, more baseline state.
Nice. All right, moving on to the energy fields. What are the 10 energy fields humans have? Describe each one in simple terms.
Right. So the first, the human. Okay, so we're doing that one too. Okay, powers of psyche are compounded into different energy fields associated with various regions of the psyche: adaptive, freeform, and open-ended; directive, structured, and closure-seeking; objective, focused on the external; subjective, focused on the internal; perception, focused on gaining information; interpretive, focused on pattern-based information; literal, focused on detail-based information; discernment, focused on decision-making; values-based, focused on personal criteria; and logic-based, focused on impersonal criteria. All right, that shouldn't be too hard. Okay, so the 10 different energy fields. There's adaptive, which is can describe as like open-ended and freeform, and directive, which is structured and closure-seeking. There is objective, which is focused on the external, and subjective, which is focused on the internal. There is perception, which is focused on gaining information. And then within that, there's literal perception, which is focused on detail-based information, and interpretive perception, which is focused on pattern-based information. And then discernment is are focused on like decision-making criteria, and within that, you have logic-based discernment, and that's impersonal criteria, and versus values-based discernment, which is personal criteria.
All right, first up is going to be directive for Naiji. All right, so what are the directive powers of the Naiji? What are the adaptive powers of the Naiji? Which powers are ranked higher energetically? And what does this mean regarding the innate nature of the Naiji? How can this be noted physiologically?
Okay. Naiji have directive powers, which are Nai and Ji, and they also have adaptive powers, which is I and V. So they're quite capable on both sides of their psyche. However, one of these compounds must outrank the other, and it is their directive powers, Nai and Ji, that give them energy, and it is their adaptive powers, Psi and V, that curb their energy. Yeah, it says their directive powers for Psi and V as well. I don't know if it says that in your book, but that's what it says in mine.
Thank you,
and I guess I do have the most recent one, so.
Do you? Is yours the most recent? No?
Well, I mean, it's the one I downloaded from the website.
Okay, cool.
So that's the one that's up, I should say. Unless you have a more recent one you haven't put up.
Yeah, that needs to be updated. Thank you.
Problem. So anyway, I'll just do it again. However, one of these compounds must outrank the other, and it's the directive powers, Nai and G, that give them energy, and it is their adaptive powers, Psi and V, that curb their energy. One other thing in that sentence is that it says, it is their directive powers, Nai and G, that give them energy, and it is their adaptive powers, Xi and V, that curb your energy. I feel like those should both be the same thing. Should both be your or both be them? You're
right. It was thinking a different tense at one point. Okay. I'm going with them each time.
Yeah, I think them sounds a little better because you don't know who's going to be reading this, even though, you know, if they're not an IG, it sounds.
Yeah, I think this was intended as a field thing at one point, and then it got converted.
Yes, I do remember that. Back when there was just a few field pitch sections, and then it got expanded quite a bit. Okay. So, and it is their adaptive powers, I and V, that curb them, their energy, making them directive. This can be noted in many ways, including their penetrating eyes and taut baseline tensioning in their gesture just says your. That might come up a lot. Maybe. I don't know.
What's that?
I said that might come up a lot, maybe. I'm not sure.
We'll check on it.
It's no big deal. Works for me because in my case it's actually true when it says your, but
Exactly.
all right then. Okay, so the directive powers of the Nai are Nai and G, and the adaptive powers of the Nai are Psi and V. And the Nai and G are ranked higher, which is why the Nai are directive. They're going to gain energy from those and lose energy from their adaptive powers, and or at least curb their energy. Anyways, the way this can be noted physiologically, the fact that the directive powers are ranked higher is that the penetrating eyes they have and the taut baseline tensioning, which is like a boundary setting natural state.
All right. Similar now with subjective. Over here.
And you have subjective powers. Oh wait, I should.
Yeah, same question basically. So, what are the subjective powers? What are the objective powers? How are they ranked differently for the Nai, and how can this be noted physiologically?
All right. Nai have subjective powers, which are Nai and Psi, and they also have subjective, and they also have objective powers, which are G and V. So I did it again.
Here.
This is a good come through.
Yeah, really.
On top of helping me. Sometimes you just have little errors like that, and just going through it, you make sure you get them all when you say it out loud.
It's true.
That really does help with proofreading a lot, because sometimes if you're just looking really quickly at what you write, you miss a lot. But if you start trying to say it out loud, you can really hear how it sounds.
It's true.
Okay, so Nai have subjective powers, which are Nai and Psi, and they also have objective powers, which are G and V. So they are quite capable of operating internally or externally. However, no two powers can be at the same rank, and it is their Nai, a subjective power, that outranks all their other powers, making them subjective. This can be noted in their hooded eyes and natural body refinement. All right, good eyes. Okay, so the subjective powers of the Nai are Nai and Psi. The objective powers of the Nai are G and Phi. And the Nai is ranked first, and their Psi is also ranked first in their modulation compounds. So in both their momentum and modulation compounds, the higher ranked power is the subjective one. And so their innate nature is subjective. And this can be noted physiologically by their hooded eyes and their natural body refinement.
All right, so next up is interpretive. What is the interpretive power for Nai? What is the literal power for Nai, which is ranked higher? And what does this mean for the Nai's innate nature? And then how can this be noted physiologically?
Nai have an interpretive power, which is Nai, and they also have literal power, which is V. So they are quite capable of paying attention to both pattern-based and detail-based information. However, no two powers can be at the same rank, and it is their Nai that is energetically ranked higher than their V, making them interpretive. This can be noted in how their Nai cunning eyes are a pervasive signal they give off, and their V laser eyes only pop out during active usage. I've been paying more attention, but I didn't see anything wrong there. No, it's good to me. So the interpretive power of the Nai-Shi is Nai, and the literal power of the Nai-Shi is V. It's opposite. And, or at least, I guess in a sense. The Nai is ranked higher than the V, which is what makes the Nai-Shi interpretive. And this can be noted physiologically because their Nai is a pervasive signal in their overall energy, and cues are kind of coming through like all the time. Whereas with V, or at least, and even when they are criminal, all just more like just consistent baseline. And I forget kind of what using a lot of powers. But the thing is, yeah, the V signal really only pops when it has a very sort of active usage, and it's usually quite a kind of shudder in the person's energy that you can see when they use their polar power.
Nice. All right. Same thing, based or values-based. The discernments, what is values-based power for Nai-Ji? What is their logic-based? Which one's ranked higher, and what does that mean? And then how can this be noted physiologically?
Okay. Nai-Ji have a values-based power, which is Ji, and they also have a logic-based power, which is Zai. So they're quite capable of making decisions based on personal or logical criteria. However, no two powers can be of the same rank, and it is their Ji that is energetically ranked higher than their Zai, making them values-based. This can be noted in how their emotive expression goes easily and readily above the midline of their face and into their cheeks. Okay. So, values-based power of the Nai-Ji is Ji, and the logic-based power of the Nai-Ji is Zai. And the Ji is ranked higher than the Zai, which in turn makes the Nai-Ji value space as far as their energy field, and they get buff. And this can be noted physiologically because the mode of expression that they do with their Ji, which would be modulated by their Zai, it's kind of like the discernment sort of push and pull between them. The Ji is the one that more naturally overtakes the face and goes above the midline more readily.
Good.
And the Zai doesn't prevent that from happening as much as it would for like a logic-based media.
Very last dichotomy here is the perception fields. What is the perception powers for the Nai-Ji? What are the discernment powers, which are ranked higher? What does that mean for the Nai-Ji? How can this be noted physiologically?
Right. Nai-Ji have perception powers, which are Nai and V, and they also have discernment powers, which are Ji and Zai. So they are quite capable of gaining information and making decisions. However, these processes cannot be of the same rank, and it is their Nai, a perception power, that outranks all their other powers, making them lead perceivers. This can be noted in their specific variety of bifield face, where their Ji emotiveness goes up above the midline into their cheeks, but does not go into their eyes. Always their Nai cunning eyes are piercing through. I feel like that last clause there where it says always their Nai cunning eyes are piercing through is kind of a complete sentence. So I don't know if it should be after a comma. Like that. Without any kind of mediating factor. Particularly because there already is no comma in that.
You think it would sound better if it was just right to the always as its own sentence?
Perhaps, yeah. I think it would probably sound better if it was just its own thing. I mean, you can make it sound however you want when you say it, but I just mean from a kind of...
Yeah, the only reason I was thinking about the comma, I'm curious your logic thinks of this, is because the sentence begins with, this can be noted by their specific variety of bifield face. And then I'm basically describing that.
Let me see.
Is the Nai eyes piercing through? I think is actually part of that bifield face description.
It is. It is, for sure. It's true.
And it's a little word that might not be clear if I put a period there. That might seem like a new separate thought has been going.
maybe. Maybe you don't need the commas at all. Maybe you can just say something like, this can be noted in their specific variety of Byfield face, where their geomotiveness goes up above the midline into their cheeks, but is not going to their eyes, and then maybe comma, and always their nigh cunning eyes are piercing.
Okay. So take the period out from the front.
I guess, I mean, maybe the comma's fine. Maybe just add an and.
And where?
Before always.
And
It's just a conjunction. Yeah, I don't think having the commas are wrong or having a long sentence. That's just a stylistic thing, but
Sure.
I definitely see your point about.
All right, so I put the
Yeah.
and. All right, so we are on to the.
I didn't actually do it yet, but
Oh, that was just reading. Gotcha.
yeah. All right then. The perception powers of the Niji are Nai and V, and the discernment powers of the Niji are Shi and Zai. And their Nai is ranked as their top power, so and it's perception power, so that in turn makes them a perception lead mojo. And then just really the thing I said that the Nai and the V in particular share is that they're both like the major powers. So like one is major momentum and one's major modulation. So the perception always has like a bigger energetic swing. Whereas the discernment powers, it's more I don't know.
No, you mean the.
It's more tame. Yeah.
So basically, their most
The
natural
swing.
state and
Yeah.
their altered state are both in the eye area.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like the perception powers are just, for all the perception mojo, they're just the kind of the biggest thing. And it's opposite for the discernment, please. And as we noted, physiologically, and as we're talking about before, the Byfield face, which the Niji do have the geomotive expression that goes above the midline of their face, that goes through most of their face, but it doesn't ever go into the eyes or overtake the eyes, which always stay with the primarily Nai watchful interpretive signal. Primarily.
All right, that clears up all the energy fields. So now we're moving into Niji mojo reading instrument. All right. What are some ways the first rank power of Nai helps Niji with mojo reading?
Okay. Niji use their powers, Niji, Zai, V, for everything they do in life. These powers that Niji possess make them the most naturally gifted at reading a person's innate nature design, their mojo. It is not just the powers themselves, but also their energetic ranking. Nai and Ji, their momentum powers, are very well suited to mojo reading, and in turn cause Zai and V, their modulation powers, to specialize their usage to ways that support Nai and Ji, and thus they also can be helpful in mojo reading. Oh wait,
That's more like an intro paragraph. And then
yeah, right. I'm thinking the question like, yeah, okay. So Nai helps the Niji achieve the state of detached interest that is so important in mojo reading. Niji have evolved to be highly insightful psychological hunters and observers of the human condition. Therefore, they have a strong need and propensity for reading people in order to be successful at the heroic adventures they are designed for. The Niji simulator, which has correctly math built intrinsically into it, can import people from the world into the Niji's fantasies, which very often can help read the innate nature of the people in question. Niji also use perspective shifting to envision what it would be like to be another person, while their deductive reasoning asks the key questions it takes to discover what hidden forces are at play regarding a given person. Okay, so I just want to like list all of those ways.
Yeah, in your own words, if you like.
Sure.
How do you want to respond?
Let me read them again.
If you have any questions, go ahead and ask.
Sure. So detached interest, psychological hunters, assessing people for adventures they're designed for. This simulator, which has human math built into it. And perspective shifting and inductive reasoning. Okay. So some of the ways the first rank Power of Nai helps Naishi with mojo reading. One is the state of detached interest that Nai kind of advocates for in the psyche, which is very helpful just for the general state of mojo reading that you want to be in. Then there's the fact that it evolves Naishi to be these kind of psychological hunters who are very were driven to and good at assessing what kind of adventures a person would be good at. Heroic adventures, which is very helpful to assessing their mojo, and all the things that relate to that. And then there's our Naishi simulator, which has all kinds of correct human math in there, and we kind of import people we're looking at into that, and then I guess take them apart and do whatever we want them inside there, and it helps to read them. And then there's the kind of there's a perspective shifting of imagining just, I guess, what more could be going on with a person, or an abductive reasoning, actually like asking questions of what hidden forces might be at play behind what a person does, which is essentially what mojo is this kind of force behind the scenes that you have to sort of look for and assess this sort of pattern, I guess, that's not directly on the surface.
Nice. And now with Xi. Wait. Okay.
All right. Xi helps the Naishi take a keen interest in learning about a person's deeper story, which is something that is necessary for many of the fields that Naishi favor, such as psychology and life coaching. Having Xi that is heavily influenced by Nai means that Naishi are prone to having a closer connection to imaginary friends or spirit companions than most people. When Naishi dialogue with these voices in their psyche regarding people being bred, it can often yield profound information, including what a given person's mojo design is. Naishi also have a code of conduct that is inclined to update itself as it is confronted with previously unknown truths about natural law, which is a difficult but essential part of the mojo reading process. Interesting person, just story. Spirit friends. Dialogue with. Okay. So because of the kind of Xi that Naishi have, particularly with Nai overtly to some mojo reading advantages. And okay, so one of them is that particularly the kind of Xi we tend to have just a keen, innate interest in learning people's deeper stories, which is definitely critical. It's critical for a lot of the things that Naishi are interested in, and definitely helps to kind of elicit what their mojo design or whatever other mojo related phenomenon you might want to learn about them. And then there's the fact that because of the Nai, the way our Xi works, the way it's heavily flavored with Nai, is that it tends to be, or at least often is associated with friends in the imagination, or spirit form friends that you can dialogue with internally as you're doing a mojo reading and get all kinds of insights, and you might even tease out a person's mojo configuration or something like that. And then there is the fact that the kind of code of conduct that RG lives by, because it's heavily flavored with Nai, has to be the kind that readily updates itself when it learns new natural law truths, which is very important for the mojo reading process, as it involves a lot of quasi-deathing and stuff like that. So that's also helpful.
Good. All right. Third one up is the Xi. How does Xi help out in motor reading?
Xi, being in service of Ni and G, lets the Ni-G logically weigh conceptual humanistic qualities for subtle yet precise categorization. Ni-G can use this to understand and create the most sophisticated programming on the planet, and human design can be thought of as nature's most complex programming. As a part of this, Ni-G often build large virtual villages in their mind's eye, and if the logic of it is sound, all the human math cross connections will interweave seamlessly. This can be used to test out what a person's innate nature design is by mentally experimenting with different answer options for that given person to see which one allows the entire virtual village to maintain its equilibrium, clarity, and logical consistency. Humanistic qualities. Understanding sophisticated programming, which human design is the most. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So the way our Xi works, our Xi is in service to our Ni-G, since it's lower ranked, and that gives it our Xi in particular is very good at weighing conceptual humanistic qualities in subtle and precise ways, which is pretty much exactly what you're doing in Moser reading, and or at least one thing you can do, but a very good one, and it's built to understand, I guess, some of the most complex programming, if you want, in existence, which human design most certainly is. Is probably the most complex programming that, at least that we know of, in existence. And we often build these complex virtual villages in our mind, and then with our Xi, when we're doing something like Moser reading, we can test, when we're reading a new person, or even looking at an old one, I guess, we can test different ways and test different options for what they might be in sort of mental experiments, and we can see how that would affect the logical equilibrium and sort of the entire virtual village, which can help us decide, because just based on how that feels, can help us decide what the best answer is.
Good. All right, last up is the V. What are some ways fourth ranked V in Ni-G?
Okay. So V is the farthest conscious power for the Ni-G, but they often find it easy to use in an artistic capacity, which helps out greatly in Moser reading with highly attentive aesthetic appreciation. Moser reading can be thought of as an art form of its own called soul sculpting, and Ni-G are gifted at doing this with their V. Another powerful way Ni-G are inclined to use their V is for bullet time reading, where they are able to track visual experience, pick out visual detail like it is in a video freestyle. This is sculpting. Okay. So V, even though it's our farthest conscious power, because of the nature of our very artistically inclined peak pathway, we do often find it relatively easy to use in an artistic sort of context, which you can definitely think of Moser reading as, and in particular as kind of soul sculpting, which is what you're doing when you're trying to kind of get to the essence of the person's soul, so to speak, and kind of carve off all of the memes around it and try to see through to what's driving all of that. And as we're assessing someone in in sort of visceral real time, we can use our V to sort of pick out these like bullet time details that really accentuate some aspect of the person's mojo or some cue that we notice. That's very particular and literal.
Nice. All right. Social alchemy. That's new. That one you also need to do.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I'll look before I start again. I have the thread open so I can check. We're doing, yes, conscious powers, energy fields, motivating instrument, social alchemy, and life partner hierarchy are the ones that Ben did.
Okay. You're crushing this. All right, keep going. So first up is, what is social alchemy in simplest terms? How does social alchemy relate to all Mojo designs?
All right. Social alchemy is the energetic interplay between two or more mojos. Each mojo is a member of a variety of groupings that help teach more about oneself and how to interact with others. Social alchemy is a vital part of any true seeker's heroic toolkit. Okay. So, in simplest terms, social alchemy is the energetic interplay between two or more mojos. And it relates to all mojo designs because all mojos are part of a variety. Each mojo is part of a variety of groups, and they share at least one group with every other mojo. So if you understand how you're each part of that group, it can help teach you how to better relate to all mojo designs from your own.
Good. All right, now moving to Naiji themselves. What is the recognition group for the Naiji? Who is in this group? How does this social alchemy grouping help the Naiji develop themselves?
Recognition group for Naiji is Naiji in their totality. This includes all Naiji of every possible variation and level of development. Other Naiji act as mirrors to each other in regards to their peak pathway potentiality, both the aspirational and the cautionary. Naiji, with their complex psychologies, benefit greatly from studying other Naiji. Okay. So the recognition group for the Naiji is the Naiji in their totality, which includes Naiji at all kind of variations, levels of development, what have you. And this social alchemy grouping helps the Naiji develop themselves because Naiji, you can look at another Naiji, what they're doing because they have the same peak pathway of you, and see something of your own peak pathway potentiality. Both the aspirational, what would be good to mirror, and the cautionary, what might want to be wary of or not mirror. And so this is particularly helpful for Naiji because our psychologies are very, very complex. So having examples to look at is particularly beneficial.
Good. Next up is, who is the inspirational partner for the Naiji and why? What storyline did they create together with the Naiji? What are some areas of interest that are often shared by the Naiji and their inspirational partner?
Oh my. A lot of them. I can use a family of writing, social activism, invention, inspiration, psychology, philosophy, spirituality, and much more. How many of those do I have to do?
What's that?
How many of those do I have to do?
Just do like 3 or so. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, most of them.
Yeah, we also did that once during the Nijai, so I'm pretty sure I did them all there. So I have it as an adult. Oh, I should read it first. The inspiration partner for the Naiji is Nijai, which has the 4 conscious powers the Naiji does not, and also in a particular ranking. The Naiji and Nijai together constitute the Nijiz storyline. Understanding and elevating their Nijiz storyline is crucial for finding a conducive lifestyle and ideal made for the Naiji. Both Nijiz, the Naiji and Nijai, show up frequently in acting, music, comedy, writing, social activism, invention, exploration, psychology, philosophy, spirituality, and much more. Okay. So the inspirational partner for the Naichi is the Jai, and that's because they have all the four conscious powers that the Naichi doesn't, and with the proper channel hierarchy sequencing. And the storyline they create together is the Jez storyline. And so one area is where the Jez, the Naichi, and their inspirational other show up often are writing, philosophy, spirituality, social activism, comedy. Good.
Good.
Music.
All right. Who is the same source partner for the Naiji? What is the name of this duo? How does this same source partner help Naiji develop themselves? And what are some areas of interest that they share?
The same source partner for the Naiji is the Nai-C. The Naiji and Nai-C together make Nai Alpha, who share having Nai as their first rank power, but have different second rank powers. Nai-C help you more fully develop your Nai. Both the Nai Alpha show up frequently in acting, comedy, and mixed martial arts.
Oh, just we actually took out the mixed martial arts since that's not an area the Nai-Z show up a ton in. So it's just
not as much. Yeah, I see your point. Yeah, they do show up there, but
yeah,
less so. I remember. Yeah, it's mostly the Durons, and even the Vaishi. At least, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? I don't remember how. What is there more of now?
The G mojos are definitely the most represented there, and then the Z mojos.
Even the G vibe.
G vibe's in there as well. Yeah.
Because I remember, like, there was one point you did like a vlog a really long time ago. It was like, I think like the first motor journalism vlog, and it was about MMA. And I remember it was something like there was the most Jinai amongst the top ranked fighters, but Naishi had the most belts.
Yeah, that's still pretty accurate. It's just the Dursens are also strong represented and have been getting more so. As
the more you've gone into it, I remember you saying something like the Vaiji especially were showing up like a lot. And even for the women.
Yeah. And the Nai-Z, besides some of the really famous ones, they're kind of like pioneers. They don't really show up in like the overall just, general ranks, so to speak.
Yeah. And the Nai-Z, interesting.
They're very cool.
I want to find more of them. Because honestly, like, just, I feel like they didn't show up as much as what I thought they might.
Me too. I really thought I'd see more of them in technology.
Yeah, technology or science or something.
Yeah, technology.
There's something else.
Business.
More than else. Yeah, but they're not too many. I mean, they're few, but they're not too many. It's something interesting. They're out there somewhere. All right. Then the same source partner for the Naichi is the Nai-C, and the name for this duo is the Nai Alpha, and they're the same source relationship the Nai-Z and the Naichi have helps them develop their Nai, because you're basically seeing the way that a more expansive view of your Nai, the way that it can be used with a logic-based dynamics movement power is quite a bit different than the more personal way that we approach things from first. So some of the areas of interest shared by the Naichi and the Nai-Z are acting and comedy.
Who is the inverse mojo partner for the Nai-Ji? What is the name of this duo? How does it help the Nai-Ji develop themselves, and what are some areas of shared interest?
The inverse mojo partner for the Jinai, or for the Nai-Ji, is the Jinai. The Nai-Ji and Jinai together make the Durons, who share having Nai and Ji as their top two powers, but with the Jinai having Ji first. Jinai help you more fully develop your Ji.
Oh, got it.
What? Did it say something wrong?
There's Ji.
Oh, yeah.
I heard it's good because I still heard it from you.
Okay.
You see what I'm talking about?
Does it say there?
No, it says your. I'm changing to there.
Oh, you're changing it to there. Okay.
Right?
Oh. Okay. I was confused even when you were correcting. Like I was saying, okay. Gene and I help you more fully develop. Help them more fully develop their chi, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's why it confused me.
Yeah, that was and you were reading correct in the book. I just was knowing that. I need to update that.
Okay. Yeah. Them develop their chi. That makes sense. I mean, it's because for me, but that's true. It feels almost weird saying there because in that context, it almost sounds like could be referring to the Shinai, particularly with the you there. So I'm like, well, it's not really help them that much. I mean, I guess they could learn from Nai-Shi, but in a way, but less so. Perhaps. Both Durham show.
There's definitely exchange on both sides, but
yeah, and then we can learn from their Nai because like their Nai are like they're like more, I guess, sort of action oriented and stuff. Our Nai is definitely more like total and expansive.
Yeah.
And same thing. There's Xi, but we have ways that we use Xi that they can learn from that are probably more like covert.
The joys of monologuing.
Monologuing, exactly, is most of the more like kind of push and pull dialoguing aspect of it. Makes sense. All right. Anyway, both Durhams show frequently in acting, most major sports, and combat sports. All right. So the inverse Mojo partner for the Nai-Shi is the Jinai. The name of this duo is the Durhams, Destructive Romantics, and the Jinai helps the Nai-Shi to develop their Ji in particular, because the Jinai have their Ji higher ranked, but given that the most similar to the Nai Ji as possible, because it's still Ji flavor with Nai with all the same other powers, momentum, etc. And some of the areas that are shared by the Nai-Shi and the Jinai are acting and most major sports and combat sports.
Okay. All right, next is meaty, but it's pretty mathematical. Basically, what is the Nez Alpha Quartet? What mojos are in it? The Romantics Quartet, who's in it? What are Nai mojos, who's in it? What are G mojos, who's in it? What are Hunter mojos, who's in it? And what are basically what are subjective interpretatives and who's in it?
Okay. Oh, basically just a bunch of mojo groupings. Should I actually read this, or like, am I probably gonna know the groupings well enough that I can probably just do it?
It's pretty mathematical, so if you want to just go ahead and try and get credit for it, you can.
Okay. All right then. So the Nez Alpha Quartet are the lead interpreter mode, the interpreter source power. So that's going to be the Nai-Shi, the Nai-Si, the Nijai, and the Nizai. And the Romantics Quartet are the mojos that have a momentum perception that is interpretive and a momentum discernment that is values based. It's one way you can describe it. And the designs that are included there are the Nai-Ji, the Nijai, the Nijai, and the Jinai. And then the Nai mojos are the mojos whose top conscious perception power is Nai. And those are the Nai-Ji, Nai-Z, Jinai, and Zinai. The Hunter mojos are the mojos whose source power is a worldview map power. And those are the Nai-Ji, the Nai-Z, the Vai-Ji, and the Vai-Z. The special club grouping that the Nai-Ji in particular is in is the subjective interpretive mojos that have a subjective source power and whose top conscious perception power is interpretive, or yeah, I guess. And the mojo designs included in that grouping are the Nai-Shi, the Nai-Z, the Jaini, and the Zaini.
Good. All right, now you do the same kind of thing again, except you're going to pick 5. 5 you want to pick?
Pick 5. Okay. Well, there's the. Wait, have we already? Did I skip one? I think I skipped one. I think I skipped the G mode. I was just gonna do the G mojos, and then I'm like, wait a minute.
Okay,
I totally my fault. I accidentally skipped it. I just went from Knight to Hunter. Anyway, G mojos is easy. So G mojos are the mojos that have G as their top conscious discernment power, and that is going to be the Nai G, the G Nai, the G Vi, and the Vi G. I would say that was a pretty natural one to do.
Yeah.
So like. Okay, well, this one's kind of dumb, but in a way, it's not. It's a good group. It's just that because of the ones that are already there, it's basically the same mojos, which is a change flow. So first wave of the change flow is technically not the same. I mean, it's not the same concept as as alpha because they're not all the same, all the different change flow groups. But this one is, and basically the discerners are. But so the change flow are the mojos who have an interpretive perception first and literal power last. The change flow group, the Nai G part of anyway. It's basically change flow is the tolerance for things like risk taking and new ideas and revolution versus like conservation, repetition, sort of thing. Details. And so the Nai G are on the most heavily interpretive side of that, which is effectively the same as the Nez Alpha, and that is the Nai G, IC, Nijai, and Izai. Okay, so what are some other groups? I mean, all kinds of really big groups. What are some small ones I haven't done?
There's a couple of duos that aren't the most official ones. We use them quite a bit, actually.
Okay, so it's like Just Hunters? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's okay. So the Just Hunters are the mojos that have a worldview map as their source power with G as their canon power specifically. So they use they kind of bring their worldview map out in a warm taking ground way. And that would be the Nai G and the Vi G. Then there won't be the Subrons. They've done that one. So again, it's a subset of the special club grouping, but basically, and the romantics. I guess it's a cross section of those two is the way you can describe it. But I think in each case that would be the case of the mojos grouping like that. It'll be the one that's in their special club and in their storyline. So like their special club within the storyline. And that would be the Naishi and the Jaini.
One more? Is that where you're at?
Maybe 2. Because I did Change Flow, Just Hunters, and Subrons. Okay. Shades of Consciousness. That's a good one. So Shades of Consciousness are the mojos that have the same 4 conscious powers, but in all of their different legal orderings. So that would be so they would have the powers of Nai, Ji, Zai, and V. So that's Nai Ji, Ji Nai, Zai V, and V Zai. All right. One more. I think it's a clever one, but I mean, I could just do a big one and just be done with it. So, like, the directives. It's not creative, but it's basically the mojos that have the closure, structure-seeking, momentum powers. And those are the Naiji, Nai-Z, the Ji, Nai, and Z-Nai, and then also the Ji-Vi and Z-Vi, and the Vi-Ji and Vi-Z.
Oh, all right, last one, social alchemy. What is the human matrix, and how does it inform on how all humans relate to each other, and how does this relate to social alchemy? particular.
Right. Okay. So I'll read this one. The human matrix encompasses all humans and their innate natures, including the Naishi. So any individual can have a positive energetic connection with the other individual, creating productive harmony through a species collective of cooperative specialists. This is based on the principles of human design, which includes the principle of productive harmony between all designs. It just takes building up one's understanding and fluency, starting with the most native designs to their own, which for the Naishi are other Naiji, Nijai, Shinai, Naizi, and then expanding one's relationship horizon from there. Okay. So the human matrix is, I guess, that which just sort of encompasses all humans and their innate natures and all the kind of interconnections between them. And it informs on how humans relate to one another because it includes the principle of productive harmony in human design. And so there's always some within the human, all the different mode designs in humans are all part of the same human matrix and connect in some ways. There's always some positive connection you can make, even though in some cases there might be more of a natural distance. It's always some way to have a productively harmonious, or most productively harmonious relationship possible with something else that's also within the human matrix. And this relates to social alchemy because that's where you can start seeing the kind of tearing out of the connection. So Naishi are naturally going to be able to have a practically harmonious relationship with other Naiji in an easy to understand way, and Nijai, and then slightly less so Shinai and Naizi, and so on from there. But there's always is a kind of natural unpacking of that.
Exactly. But it's fun to do so. All right, moving on now into life mate hierarchy. There's first question. Why is it important to understand life partner hierarchy? What are the major categories of life partners for all mojos?
Okay. Social alchemy has several areas that have significant expansion for specific purposes, such as education, business, and most practically of all, life partners. Finding, selecting, and successfully interacting with potential life mates involves a multitude of factors, including nature, nurture, and free will. There are various different forms of intimate and life partner relationships, such as inspiration, augmentation, compensation, and suppression, which have corresponding energetic dynamics that go along with them. This is to understand life partner hierarchy. Okay. So it's important to understand the life partner hierarchy because, I mean, that's just one of the most kind of major areas of interest that social alchemy can be applied to. Doing something like finding and selecting life mates is very complex, but also very rewarding. And it can involve a lot of factors, including nature, nurture, and free will. So the major categories are inspiration, augmentation, compensation, which also I guess includes partitioning, and suppression. I remember having that conversation back when we did this with the Nishai.
Nice.
All right.
That's credit, right?
Yeah, I got it. I think so.
All right. What are inspirational life partners? How frequently do they occur? What Mojo designs are inspirational life partners with an IG and why?
The most common successful pairing for intimate relationships is between two people who can best project their unconscious genius onto one another. The ideal inspirational for the Naishi is the Nishai, who has the 4 powers the Naishi does not, and in the hierarchical rank that matches up perfectly with the Naishi. 2 other highly inspirational motives for the Naishi are the Jaini and the Nizai. The Jaini has both Ni and Jai as their top 2 powers, the most inspiring powers to Naishi, but with the Jai rank above the Ni, when the Naishi is ideally inspired by a person who has Ni above Jai as the top 2 powers, as is the case with the Nishai. Nizai has power of Ni first, like the Nishai, but the second power for the Nizai is Zai, which is a logic-based power when an Naishi is ideally inspired by Jai, values-based power. So, inspirational life partner situations occur most frequently, right?
Yes, correct.
Does it say that? Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does. It's in the first sentence. I was looking for it in like the order of questions that are asked, but it's like the first thing they say. So never mind. Yeah, if you got that, most common. Okay. Okay. So an inspirational life partner is one that would be the best sort of receptacle, I guess, for projecting your unconscious genius onto out of all possible life partners that you have. And so for the Naishi, that would be Nijai. I guess it's not really in order of questions, but I guess it doesn't matter. How frequently do their life part inspirational are relationships are the most common out of all pairings, which makes sense because there's just the most natural draw. So even people totally unconscious of that are still reacting to those signals. And the Mojo designs that are inspirational for the Naishi are, as I already said, the Nijai is the ideal inspirational, and then slightly less so are the Jaini and the Nizai are inspirational, but there's some barriers more so. And so the Nijai are ideally inspirational because they have the exact 4 conscious powers the Naishi doesn't, and in the exact same channel hierarchical ranking that matches up exactly to the Naishi's. The Jaini has the same 4 powers that the Nishai does, and even the same momentum modulation powers that the Nishai does, but they have Jai first, so they have and their Jai and Vi, their literal and values-based channels are higher rank than the Naishi, so there's like, I guess, too much of that, and the interpretive and logic-based are lower, so there's not as much as the Naishi would actually want of that, and they also just have that like a discernment lead sort of rhythm to their energy that doesn't really match the Naishi's more liquidy perception lead rhythm. The Nizai do have Ni first and their perception lead, like the Nijai are, but they don't have the right for conscious powers. They have the same overlap with they have the overlap with Ji and Zai that the Naishi also have, and even in the wrong channel order too. So the logic-based power is higher, so the logic-based energy is too high and the value-based too low.
That was a meaty one. The other ones aren't quite as meaty.
Yeah. But it's pretty easy to remember.
Here you go. What are augmentation-like partners? How frequently they occur? And which mode designs are augmentation for Naiji and why?
All right. The next most common pairing is when two people of the same innate nature design to come together. It says, I assume it's just come together.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Called augmentation, which tends to happen when they share a common cause or goal that acts as the projection of their unconscious genius instead of projecting their unconscious genius onto a human form. For the Naiji, this usually means pairing up with another Naiji as a life partner, which has the benefits of being comfortable and easy to understand. However, it lacks the necessarily different powers required to inspire the Naiji to their maximum potential. This inspiration will need to be found through other means, such as art, career, or a cause that brings these energies into the Naishi's life on a consistent and pervasive basis. Okay. Okay, so augmentation life partners are when the life partners that come together are of the same or a very close innate nature design, but they don't as much project their unconscious genius onto one another as much as something bigger than themselves that they share, like a career or a cause or something like that. And it is the next most common after inspirational relationship, because there's still a lot of closeness and benefit and crossover there, but it's not the most inspiring innately. So there's just not as much natural draw. The emoji designs that are augmentation for the Naiji are primarily other Naiji, because it's the same peak pathway. It's the most easy to understand. It's just kind of comfortable in a way, but they will need to get the inspirational energies from their unconscious part of their psyche another way, such as, like I already said, through a cause or career, art, whatever works. And the other motives that are most close are the Naizi and the Jinai. So, I should say else on those.
All right. Next up is this large group, the compensation group, that, as you mentioned, has partition in it as well.
Yeah.
What are they? How frequently they occur? And why do Naiji need to be especially careful about falling into these kinds of relationships?
All right. Another mate choice that is not uncommon usually involves partners who are not conducive to one's cultural conditioning and expectations, which then determine the worldly goals they set for themselves, including who they spend their life with. These are called compensatory relationships, as they use one's mate as a form of coping mechanism to deal with the overactive stimulation or overbearing expectation that can come from established institutions and traditions. IG in particular need to be careful about this, because their shape-shifting, ghost-walking, and disassociation abilities make it to where they can easily create makeshift lives for themselves in all kinds of uncommon environments, including relationships that are unhealthy. All right, so compensation life partners are basically life partners that you have because they're more conducive to cultural conditioning and expectations, overbearing traditions, etc., to where having a mojo that's more distant and just not as conducive energetically is helpful to you in dealing with these more mimetic constructs. in some way, and they're not uncommon because I'm sure, especially for an IG, because I don't know, especially, but I mean maybe because the powers that we have,
we can slip
don't get a lot of validation sometimes. So yeah, now that I think about it, I mean I've definitely seen quite a few conversation relationships out there in our samples for 9.
Yeah.
Which is basically just even more compensatory. So why don't I actually need to be especially careful? Well, that's because we have ability, on top of the fact that I already just said, which is that our momentum powers, especially our Nai, don't tend to get validated a lot. There's also the fact that we have an ability to just kind of, a lot of tuning out sort of abilities, like shape shifting, disassociation, and ghost walking. We can make like these makeshift lies. So we go about maybe something that interests us, but the life in a lot of ways isn't really feeding us, and we just kind of tune out from it and don't take a lot of form. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that you can do it sometimes makes you feel like, oh, I should do it. Particularly there's like, guilt or other pressures that are on you.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things can be. And we see a lot with famous people, but I'm sure it happens a lot to not famous IG, which is most of them.
For sure. All right, last one here. What are suppression life partners? How frequent does this occur? Which designs are suppression for an IG? And why do these relationships happen with surprising frequency?
So the last life partner grouping worth noting is the suppression relationship, which comes when a partners are designs that put each other in a constant state of modulation. For an IG, this can often be the VGI. This is not energetically advantageous, but it happens, usually because an IG is mistaken the VGI for a NIGI, which are the two value-based gatherers, but otherwise they're very different. Okay, so suppression life partners are partners that are literally going to put you in a constant state of modulation because they have either both of your modulation powers as their momentum powers, or the most modulation one at least as the highest, major modulation. And so they occur, I guess I'm assuming the least common, but they do definitely still occur. You'll definitely see them out there, especially for the IG with the alpha. And the mode designs that are suppression for the IG are the VZI, VJI, and XIV. And they occur, I guess, with surprising frequency. Well, I guess in the case, at least of the VJI, which is probably the most common of them, I would imagine, is because they have a lot of similarities to the Nijai, which is the Naiji's inspirational other. So, I mean, I guess there is a little inspiration there. But they, I don't know, have this, like, generally more, like, mimetic sort of bling aspect to them more often, which is more how they work. I mean, they're V-alpha, so maybe for them it's different. But that can help an IG who's involved in some kind of worldly thing. And sometimes they even end up with the ad prax, I guess. I haven't seen too many IG with Xi V, but probably out there.
Yeah,
maybe
probably
in
out
sports
there.
or something. But definitely with VZI, we've seen, which is like the most suppression, so it's like a little weird. But yeah, we like Eminem and Bruce Lee we've talked about.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they are, if you're trying to...
They're so into like the Zion beat they're doing. I don't know that I guess that's like their whole life. They're just like in Daru mode.
Yeah, but a very bonus stacked Daru mode.
Very bonus stacked Daru mode with lots of even momentums the inside going on around.
Very true. Nice. Okay, that actually, I think catches you up on this stuff.
There's probably been a few other hangouts I've missed. I don't know where they are. I'll have to look for them. Okay. If we do want to spend a little more time right now, I do remember at least one other thing I missed, though. Even though there's a lot of order. Because I remember one of the discussions I missed that I actually commented on in email, which was when you guys were talking about the powers.
So which one did you miss?
So I think I missed the Nijai powers.
Nijai powers. Okay.
In the human side. I think I was there for Nai, G, Xi, and V, and then I missed the next one where you guys were talking about
Gotcha. Okay.
Xi, Z, and Vi, because I remember that I made a comment about like Z empiricism.
All right, so go there. Let's see where this going to be.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the Nijai powers. So we can do those one at a time.
But it was actually part of the universal, right?
Yes, it's part of the universal. I'll go find it close, I think. Where are you? Yep, I found it. Okay, so page 60.
Here we go. So what is the power of Ni all about, right?
Yeah.
All right, so here it goes. I'll put
Where was it? Are you on page 53?
I'm not sure. I'm actually in my review question document right now.
Oh, okay. All right. I think it's 53.
Let me check. Sorry, I can double check that for you. So where you at? You're in page 57, you said?
53.
53. 53 in the proclamation or the ebook, the Nijai ebook?
In the proclamation. Because not the this is not the Nijai power. It's the Nijai powers in the universal.
Yeah, I see now. You're right. Page 53. All right, so we'll start with Ni.
Yeah.
There it is. There. What is the power?
I remember we did them in our peak pathway order, so we went like Ni, even though they're not in the order here. We're gonna do Ni first, then Jai, then C, then vice versa. But all right. I traded the nice ones here. All right, so Ni. What is power of Ni about? All right, sorry, I'll read. Ni is power. It's all about possibility. In technical terms, Ni can be thought of as adaptive, objective, interpretive perception. Ni is located in the right front quadrant of the psyche. Abilities associated with Ni are sixth sense, imminent potentiality, abstraction, getting the gist, brainstorming, idea generation, cross-contextualizing, idea juggling, optimism, risk-taking, trend tracking, storm chasing, riffing, improvisation, pattern surfing, bridge building, creative energy, contagious enthusiasm, playful imagination, and change initiation. The distinct signal for Ni is buoyancy, the color coding for Ni is purple, and the hand sign is an open hand touched to the right front part of the head.
Nice. And so the power flows, you can do 10. That was what we went with.
Nice. I remember that. Was not easy. Possibility terms is adaptive. Perception. I remember very specifically. You're not supposed to say it is N adaptive. You have to say that it is because it's not N. It is adaptive.
Right. Exactly.
And the right fine. Okay. Sixth sense. All right. All right. Ni is power that is about possibility. In technical terms, Ni is adaptive, objective, interpretive perception. It's located in the right front quadrant of the psyche, and 10 or more abilities associated with Ni are sixth sense, potentiality, abstraction, getting the gist, trend tracking, storm chasing, riffing, risk taking, playful imagination, and change initiation. I think that was enough. Those pages, enthusiasm, effect. All right. Sync signal for Ni is buoyancy, and the color coding for Ni is purple, and the hand signal for Ni is an open hand for the yin attached to the right front quadrant of the psyche.
Got it. Next up, same thing for Jai.
Jai is the power is all about harmony. In technical terms, Jai can be thought of as adaptive, subjective, values-based discernment. Jai is located in the right rear quadrant of psyche. Abilities associated with Jai are hope, expectancy, idealism, sentiment, virtue, personal purity, gut reaction, acid testing, essence reading, attunement, empathy, communing, resonating, internalizing, conviction, investment, devotion, sacrifice, personal values, moral compass, and moral compass. The distinct signal for Jai is poignancy. The color coding for Jai is pink, and the hand sign is an open hand touched to the right rear part of the head. Okay. All right. Okay. Jai is the power that's all about harmony. In technical terms, Jai is adaptive, subjective, values-based discernment. Jai is located in the right rear quadrant of the psyche, and 10 or more abilities associated with Jai are hope, expectancy, idealism, sentiment, virtue, communing, resonating, personal sentiment, moral compass, internalizing, and personal purity. I think that's 10. Keep track. Jai, this distinct signal is that of poignancy. Its color coding is pink, and the hand signal for Jai is an open hand touch to the right rear quadrant of Psyche.
So, next up, it is
all right then. Z is the power that is all about the system. In technical terms, Z can be thought of as directive, objective, logic-based discernment. Z is located in the front left quadrant of the psyche. Abilities associated with Z are ambition, thirst for challenge, directness, efficiency, authoritativeness, decisiveness, assessing, strategizing, planning, organizing, scheduling, sequencing, protocol implementation, standards of procedure enforcement, systemic logic, going for the win, straightforwardness, forcefulness, systemic relationships, and systemic dynamics. The distinct signal for Z is bracing. The color coding for Z is gold, and the hand sign is a closed hand touched to the left front part of the head. It's just okay. Z is the power that is all about the system. In technical terms, Z is directive, objective, logic-based discernment. G is located in the left front quadrant of the psyche, and some abilities associated with C are ambition, thirst for challenge, directness, efficiency, decisiveness. It's 5. Strategizing, forcefulness, systemic relationships, standards of procedure enforcement, and protocol implementation.
Boom.
And the distinct signal for C is bracing. The color coding is gold, and the hand signal for C is a closed hand touch to the left front part of the head.
All right. Last up, Vi. What's up?
I was just laughing at a Facebook post.
What's that?
I just got an email on my phone. I have my phone right in front of me.
Gotcha.
Having a conversation with Ben and Gabe. Facebook. All right. Vi is power that's all about the known. In technical terms, Vi can be thought of as directive, subjective, literal perception. Vi is located in the left read, it says for me. I assume that's left rear. Left rear quadrant of psyche. Abilities associated with Vi are recall, recall to remember, memories, experience, exact information, verifiable data, specificity, practicality, stability, security, consistency, reliability, maintaining, preserving, sense of tradition, historic roots, attention to detail, standards of excellence, solidity, and certainty. The distinct signal for Vi is concern. The color coding for Vi is gray, and the hand sign is a closed hand touch to the left rear part of the head. All right. Vi is power that's all about the known. In technical terms, Vi is directive, subjective, literal perception. It's located in the left rear quadrant of the psyche, and 10 abilities associated with it are recall, call to remember, memories, experience, exact information, verifiable data, consistency, attention to detail, sense of tradition, and maintaining. And its distinct signal is concern. And its color coding is gray, and the hand signal for Vi is a closed hand touch to the left rear quadrant of the psyche.
Boom. Got it. Nice. Crushed it. So like about 10 minutes to spare here. I think it's a good starting point.
That's fine.
So now probably, I think there may be another session that you missed. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's a few. I just missed a few recently, and there's maybe a few I missed. I'll just look back through the videos, and I can just see the ones I'm not in, and those are the ones that...
Sounds good. Well, you crushed on these, so you're catching really fast now. So that's good for tonight, and then just let me know when's a good time for your schedule to do another one, and we'll catch up some more.
Okay.
All right. Any questions before you sign off?
I don't think so.
All set?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you tomorrow then.
All right, then. See you.
Cool. Stop.